You were not born at the top of the food chain. For most of human history, you were not even close. Lions hunted you. Leopards dragged you into trees. Hyenas cracked your bones the same way you cracked theirs. And the giant short-faced bear, a creature twice the size of a grizzly, would have walked through your entire camp and taken whatever it wanted. You had no claws, no venom, no armor, no speed. A chimpanzee, the animal you share 98% of your DNA with, would tear your arm off in a fair fight. And yet, here you are, the species that outlasted all of them, not just survived, but pushed almost every single apex predator on Earth to the edge of extinction. How does the weakest large mammal on the savanna become the most dangerous thing that has ever walked this planet? The answer is not fire, not tools, not even intelligence exactly. The answer is something far stranger, and the story starts not with a triumph, but with a nightmare.
3 million years ago, your earliest ancestors were prey, not predators. Prey. Paleontologists found the skull of an early human ancestor, Australopithecus, and inside the eye socket were 2 perfect puncture marks, the exact spacing of a leopard's lower canines. That individual was not hunting the leopard was hunting them. For hundreds of thousands of years, the fossil record shows the same pattern. Human bones inside predator dens, human skulls with claw marks, human remains mixed in with the bones of gazelles and zebras, like your ancestors were just another item on the menu. And they were. Early humans had almost nothing going for them physically. Their teeth were flat, good for grinding plants, terrible for fighting. Their legs were fast enough to jog, but not fast enough to sprint away from anything serious. They had no fur to protect them from the cold. At night on the open savanna, the temperature dropped fast, and cold slowed everything down, including survival.
But they had 2 things. First, they had hands that could grip and throw with terrifying precision. No other animal on Earth can throw the way humans can. The shoulder joint rotates differently. The elbow locks at the right moment. The wrist snaps through with torque built for release. A trained human can hurl a rock at over 100 kilometers an hour with accuracy. A lion cannot dodge what it cannot see coming. Early humans did not fight predators at close range. They never let it get to close range. A group of 5 early humans on a ridge, throwing fist-sized stones down at a single lion, could drive it off a kill without a single person touching it. Distance was the weapon, but throwing only works when you see the threat coming, and the savanna is full of things that come when you cannot see them. This is where the second thing matters. Early humans did not survive alone. No single human in the ancient world lasted long by themselves. The fossil record makes this brutally clear. Individuals found separated from group sites show healed injuries, bones that knitted back together over months. You cannot heal a broken leg in the ancient world alone. You die of thirst, or exposure, or the next predator that finds you before the bone sets. Someone kept those individuals alive. Group living was not a social preference, it was a survival technology. And the groups were not passive. When a leopard was spotted near camp, the response was not to run. It was to make noise, throw objects, close distance in a group and harass the animal until it left. Leopards are ambush hunters. They need surprise. They need isolation. Remove both, and they lose the advantage entirely. Lions are more aggressive, harder to bluff, but a coordinated group of humans throwing rocks, screaming, closing in from multiple directions is genuinely threatening even to a lion. The key word is coordinated. A zebra herd panics, it scatters, it runs in the direction that feels fastest. A human group under predator threat could plan in real time, communicate, assign positions, remember what had worked before and execute. Language, even early primitive language, meant that two humans could coordinate an action that no two animals of any other species could perform. You go left, I go right, we meet behind it. That sentence is a weapon.
But group defense only works while you are awake. Night was the true killer. On the open savanna after dark, almost every advantage humans had disappeared. Throwing accuracy drops in darkness, coordinated movement becomes chaos, and the animals that hunted at night were built for it. Leopards have pupils that collect 6 times more light than human eyes. Lions are comfortable in near total darkness. Early humans without shelter were dying every night, not occasionally, routinely. The solution was not courage, it was engineering. The earliest human shelters were not impressive by any modern standard. They were rings of thorned acacia branches piled into rough circles a few meters wide. But that ring of thorns was a revolution. Leopards will not push through thorns to make a kill. They wait for a clean approach. Remove the clean approach, and they move on. Inside that circle, humans could sleep in shifts, 1 or 2 individuals awake while others rested. And the thing that made this devastatingly effective was fire. A fire inside the thorn circle did something no physical barrier alone could do. It broadcast a signal to every predator within sight range. There is something awake here. Predators hunt efficiency. A meal that costs too much energy or risk is not worth taking when easier prey exists elsewhere. A fire meant humans were alert, organized, defended. The cost-benefit calculation for the predator shifted, and it walked away. Fire did not just cook food, it built a wall without a single stone.
But here is where the real shift happens. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans were reactive. They defended, they mobbed, they sheltered, and then something changed. They started hunting the hunters. The transition from prey to persistent hunter is one of the most underappreciated events in natural history. Persistence hunting looks like this. You do not outrun your prey. You cannot. You walk after it all day. In the midday heat of the African savanna, a human in motion generates heat continuously and sweats to shed it. No fur, no overheating, just a wet, hairless body cooling itself with remarkable efficiency. A kudu or a wildebeest generates heat too, but it cannot sweat efficiently. It pants. And panting only works at rest. When you force an animal to keep moving in midday heat, it cannot cool down. It overheats, and it stops, and then it is yours. This is not theoretical. The San people of the Kalahari still practice this today. A single hunter following a single animal for 4 to 8 hours through the hottest part of the day until the animal collapses from hyperthermia and stands there unable to move. No sprint, no ambush, no trap. Just the most patient predator on Earth outlasting its prey by being the only animal cool enough to keep moving when everything else has to stop. This is when the food chain flipped. But the real weapon was never the body. It was memory. A lion knows the territory it lives in now. Which animal behavior predicted a predator was nearby? This accumulated information, stored in language, passed between generations, meant that human groups were never starting from zero. Every generation inherited a survival manual, written in story and spoken word. A young lion must learn by failure. A young human was told where danger lived, told which plants killed, told how the last group that camped near that ridge got picked apart by the cats that denned there, told and therefore not killed by the same mistake twice. Knowledge that lived in language outlasted any individual. This was the true monopoly humans held over every predator on Earth.
Not claws, not speed, not strength, memory.
passed through words. And then the predators ran out of room. As human groups expanded out of Africa, into Europe, into Asia, into the Americas, the pattern repeated everywhere they arrived. The megafauna collapsed. Woolly mammoths gone. Cave lions gone. Cave bears gone. The giant ground sloth gone. Irish elk gone. Short-faced bear gone. Every continent humans reached saw mass extinction of large animals within a few thousand years of their arrival. Some researchers argue climate, others argue disease, but the timing is relentless. Wherever humans arrived, large animals that had never encountered a persistence hunter suddenly disappeared. Not because humans were vicious, because they were the first predator those animals had ever met that could plan across time. A mammoth evolved to survive lions. It had no defense against a group of humans who had been studying its movement patterns for 3 seasons. Here is the uncomfortable part of this story. You did not survive the apex predators of the ancient world by becoming stronger. You survived by becoming more dangerous in ways they could not predict or evolve against fast enough. Coordination they could not match, projectiles they could not see coming, fire they could not approach, endurance that outlasted them, memory that accumulated across generations. None of it was physical dominance. All of it was systemic. You were not built to be at the top of the food chain. You built your way there, and that is a completely different thing.